Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, so I think we can get started. Let me share my screen. Last day from where we till where we have seen? We have seen till here, no? First web page. This one we have seen. And I think today we'll start from here, body tag. Okay. So basically this was the first HTML page that we have seen, right? So we tried to create this page and see what kind of output it is showing in the browser. So I think this is completed. After that we have body tag. Now body tag is used to enclose all the data which a web page has, from text to link. All the content that you see rendered in the browser is contained within this element. So if you see here this body tag, right, whatever the content that you write for a web page, everything will go inside this element. So it is telling like body tag is used to enclose all the data which a web page has, from text to link. Text, links, images, everything, whatever would be the content of the website, everything would be put inside this body tag. Okay. And there are certain attributes to a body tag. If you see here, all these are body tags, and these are the attributes like bg color or the text, background, like top margin, left margin. These are attributes. Why these are attributes? These are attributes because attributes add additional information to the existing tag, right? This is a definition that you have seen earlier. It will give you additional information. Now if you see here bg color, what is this bg color used for? It is used to specify the background color of the web page. So you are having a web page, and in that web page if you want to make that background as green or blue or yellow, so this is done by this bg color attribute for that body tag. Similarly, the text, specify the color of the text written on the web page. So if you see here text and you give this color name like say blue, all the uh, all the information on your web page will become blue for that particular text. Okay. Then you have a background, top margin and left margin. So background specifies an image as a background of the web page. If you have a web page in which you want to have a image as a background, then you can use this background attribute. Now top margin is used to give the margin for a web page. Anyone else joining? Okay. Top margin is used to specify the uh, margin at the top, and left margin is used for specifying the margin at the left. Now what do you mean by margin? Now say for example this is the HTML, this is the table that you are having, and this is the boundary. Now you wanted to give some kind of margin, or you wanted to give some spaces over here, so in that case you will use left margin. Similarly, if you see here right side, now this is the boundary of your website, and this is the table. So you wanted to extend this table border till here, or if you want to more expand this table border, then at that case you will use right margin. So this margin means to give the margin for your web page. Okay. So these are some attributes of the body tag. Now you have a heading tag. Okay. Headings help in defining the hierarchy and the structure of a web page content. HTML offers 6 level of heading H1 through H6. The lower the heading level number, the greater its importance. By default, browser displays headings in large and bolder fonts than normal text. Also, H1 headings are displayed in largest font, whereas H6 headings are displayed in smallest font. Now this H1 to H6, these are used for giving the heading. Okay, now what do you mean by heading? Heading means, like say if you are you can see through this example, when you have a H1 heading, then you see like how it is displayed. H2 heading, H3 heading, H4 heading, H5 heading. So basically, like you have a chapter, right? Chapter lesson you will write in very large font. At that time you will use H1 heading. Then that chapter has sections. Then you will use H2 heading. Then those section will have subsection. In that case you will use H3 headings. So basically these headings are used to give a hierarchy for your web page. Okay, I think this is simple. Headings are simple. Now, importance of headings. HTML headings provide valuable information by highlighting important topic and the structure of the document. So optimize them carefully to improve user engagement. So it is telling that it provides a valuable information by highlighting important topics. So when you give heading as H1, then you will see like this is the main thing that this chapter is going to explain. You have H2 heading, then it would be some kind of a section. Then you have H3 heading, then it would be a subsection within that section. Okay, so in order to give that kind of meaning, you will use the HTML heading. Don't use heading to make your text look big or bold. Use them only for highlighting the heading of your document and to show the document structure. Now if you see here, heading, this also makes your heading as bold. Okay, but you should not use heading to make the text bold. That will give some different meaning to your HTML page. Okay, so heading means it should be used for your hierarchy purpose. Okay, so that is the point that is trying to make. Don't use heading to make your text look big or bold, because even if you do H1, it will make your text look big or it will make your text look bold. But we should use heading for that heading for highlighting purpose only. Since search engine such as Google use headings to index the structure and content of the web page, so use them very wisely in your web page. So basically this is the point. These Google search engines are there, right? So this search engine will use these headings, whatever the headings that you have given, to search and to output the result to the end user. Okay, so if you use heading properly, then at that time your web page would be easily visible to the end user. So that is the purpose. We should use headings properly. Use the H1 heading as main heading of your web page, followed by H2 heading, then less important H3 headings, and so on. The same thing. So these are some of the importance of headings. Okay, now we have attribute of heading. Heading, you can align that heading to left, right, or center. So align is an attribute because it provides additional information to the existing heading. Okay, align is used to control the alignment of the text on the web page with respect to margin. The different types of alignment are: left to align the text to the left, right to align the text to the right, center to align the text to the center. Okay, so what it is telling, align is an attribute of the heading, okay, which provides the alignment of the text. So if you see H1 align is equal to center, what will happen? Now this is like left align, right? When you do align H1, you made this as you can see this one paragraph tag. This is kind of H1 tag. Okay, Now when you do align is equal to center, imagine this is the web page. When you do align is equal to center, this paragraph tag will come over here. When you do align is equal to right, your this paragraph tag text will go over here. When it is like say left, so it would be as it is. So in addition to this heading tag, it also provides information about the alignment. So those things are known as attributes. Okay, so align is one attribute of heading. Then you have a paragraph tag. Paragraph tags are used to define a block of text as a paragraph. In HTML, p tag represents a paragraph. Paragraph tag is written as p and p. An HTML p tag indicates starting of a new paragraph. Okay, so whenever you use p tag, that means that you are going to write some kind of paragraph. Okay, so paragraphs are indicated by the p tag. Sorry. Sorry. Here we were, right? Now a paragraph tag is used to define the block of text as a paragraph. So if you have some paragraph written in your web page, at that time you will use the p tag, and within that p tag you will write your paragraph. And similarly, align is also the attribute of paragraph tag. Okay, now you have a break tag. In HTML, to add a line break, the br tag is used. It is generally used in poem or address where the division of line is necessary. It is an empty tag, which means that it has no end tag. Now if you see here, this is the paragraph, right? You have written within p, that means whatever the content you would be writing over here, this will come as a paragraph in your web page. Okay, now in this case we are going to see the break tag. Now why we use break tag? Break tag is used to give a line break. Line break means now this text would be there, right? Whose woods these are, I think I know. Then it will give a line break. It will go over here. Okay, then it will give his house is in the village though. Then again it will go to the next line. This way this thing will work. So basically within the paragraph tag, the br tag is used to provide the line break. And if you notice here, like paragraph tag, whatever you have started, you have a start tag, then you have a closing tag. But if you notice in the br, there is no start tag. So these kind of tag are known as empty tag. I think this we have already covered earlier, right? So the basically br tag's purpose is to generally use in poem or address where the division of line is necessary. It is an empty tag, which means that it has no end tag. Like unlike the paragraph tag, br tag doesn't have the end tag. Okay. See, this is the output it is showing. So here we have added a line break, then it went here, then again it started over here, then again it will go here, then again line break, that means it will come over here. Now if you have not written br over here, what would have happened? This would not have been started in a new line, even if you write your text in this way. Okay, even if you write your text in this way in your HTML document without the br tag, then also what would have happened if you didn't have this br tag? Then his house is in the small though, it would have started from here. Okay, but since you have added the br tag, That is the reason it went to the new line. Okay, this is the difference. Horizontal rule or HR tag are horizontal line spread across the width of the web page or the browser. It is an empty tag, which means it has no closing tag. So basically horizontal rule or the HR tag are used to give a line, this kind of line, okay, to the web page, and it is an empty tag. Unlike like this BR was an empty tag, right? It didn't have any closing tag, it just have the starting tag. So similarly HR tag are also the empty tag, which means it has no closing tag. And these HR tags are horizontal line spread across the width of the web page. That means it will go from here to here, that way. And you can if you see here, there are different attributes of HR tag, like the size, width, color, align, no set. So these are different attributes that you can use with HR tag. If you see here, HR size is equal to 4. Now what this size will give, it will specify the thickness of the line. So you would have a horizontal line, then that horizontal line you have specified what would be the thickness in the form of size. Then specify the width of the line in the form of percentage. Now if this horizontal line is there, then what special meaning that you have given, you have added additional information like what would be the width. It can be till here, or it can be till here, it can be till here. So as you increase or decrease the value of this width, automatically that line will also increase or decrease. Okay, that is the purpose of width attribute. Similarly you have color you already know, right? Align we have already seen. No set, specified that the HR element should render in one solid color and no shaded. Like if you see, if there would be like kind of HR line tag that you have written, then it will appear in only one color without any shading. So there would be little kind of shading if you don't use this one, but if you use no shade, then that would be kind of a solid line. Okay, so these are different kind of attributes that you can use with HR. Moving on to the next, comment tag. Now comments are textual content which appears in your HTML code but are not rendered by user's browser. Comments are given between this and this. Browser ignores the text between the comment character sequences. Example. Now this comment, why we use comment? This comment are used sometimes to by the developers to like give some information of the code, or sometimes we just comment the code so that to test some other functionality. What generally happens is, if you use this comment, okay, if you use, there would be some comment and you have some piece of code, say you have a paragraph code. If you use this comment line within that paragraph code, then what will happen, this paragraph would be ignored by the browser. Okay, so what will happen, browser will ignore that part of code, and automatically from the next line it will get executed. So if you want to add some information to your code just for your purpose or some others developers purpose, at that time you will use comment tag. Or in case you want to test some functionality or just to see like how this comment work, at that time you use the comment tag. So basically the point would be, whenever you will use the comment tag, at that time it would be ignored by the browser. Okay, so it is written like browser ignores the text between the comment character sequence. Till here, anyone are having any doubt so far? Because we have covered lots of things. Okay, I think everyone is fine. So we'll move for. Okay, Madhu is telling I didn't understand about the comment tag. So you didn't understood about this comment tag, right? So what will happen whenever you will use this comment tag this way, okay? And you put some code over here. Let's say you have a code of a paragraph. What will happen? That paragraph will not be executed in your web browser. That means that paragraph will not come in the web page. Okay. So that is the meaning of this comment tag. Now say how I will explain you. Say this is the code you have written. Now when you know this, when you execute this code, this will be the output. Okay. But you if you use comment here, let's say it will start from this way and then it will go till here. If you use this paragraph within that comment tag, what will happen? This paragraph will not be executed by the browser. Although this code exists in your web page, but this part of code will not be executed by the browser, and hence paragraph will not be shown in the UI. So this would be a kind of blank output. Okay, that means whenever you use the comment tag at that time, it would be ignored by the browser. Is it clear now or still any doubt? Madhu? Okay. Uh, that is a good question. But the thing is, like, sometimes if you want to, some kind of situation will come where you want to test a piece of code and you don't want another piece of code to be executed. In that scenario, you will use this comment tag. Okay. So it is not like everything that would be executed by the browser. You will write the code. Sometime what will happen, say for example you have a 100 line of code. Okay, at that time it would be very difficult for someone or some developer to go into the code and see where that paragraph element is there. Okay, at that time what will happen, since whatever it would be ignored by the browser, you can write it over there. You can write it like this is a paragraph, a code that will give the uh, that will give about section of your website. So it will be easily understood by the developer that okay, this part of code, I just need to check this part of code, like say 10 or 15 lines. I don't need to check 100 line of code. Okay, that way it will save some time. So basically this the functionality, I am just telling you the use case of this comment. Or sometime you have say 100 line of code, you wanted to test a paragraph element as well as your like say bold, italic or underline kind of statements. At that time what you will do, you will comment the paragraph line of code and you will just check like bold, italic or underline functionality. Similarly, if you want to test only the paragraph one, you will comment the below one. And when you are fine with both of these elements, then you will remove the comment. At that time both of them will work. So basically this way you can do the testing. Okay, so use cases can be different. One is just for to get an understanding for the developer that this part of code will do this functionality. Another is like while doing the testing you can use. Okay, so these are some use cases. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Moving on to the next, HTML formatting. HTML formatting is a method of text formatting for better appearance and look. HTML includes a lot of formatting tag. These tags are used to make bold, underline and italics. For HTML, the tags are divided into two categories. Okay, it's formatting. It is all about appearance and looks. Now tags are divided into two categories, physical tag and logical tag. These tags are used to give text a visual appearance. Logical or semantic tags are used to append the value. Logical styles render the text according to its meaning. Now there are two kind of tag. One is physical tag. These are primarily used to give a visual appearance. Okay. It will give you a visual appearance. And logical tags are used with some kind of meaning. Okay, so logical in the sense it will have some kind of meaning to convey in your text. Okay, so physical tags are for appearance, logical tags carry some kind of meaning with it. Now if you see here, physical tags example are bold, italics and underline. It is bold is used to make the text bold between the text. So if you write this bold and text to be bold, so this text to be bold will become say here computers. You have written computers, right? So computers will become bold. It is used to make italics. Again here it will become italic. It is used to make it underline. So if you write computers, then there would be some kind of underline. Okay, logical text, it is a logical text that tells the browser that text is important. It will tell to the browser that this would be important, and it is used to display the content in italics. So em is also used to display in italics. Okay, now if you see here, if you see the physical tag, right, u makes it underline, em also makes underline. Okay, but the purpose for which italics is used and em is used are different. So this is just to make the text italic, okay, without any meaning. But when you use em, then your text should have some kind of meaning for which you have made it as italics. Okay, so that is the difference between the physical tag and the logical tag. Similarly, if you have bold text and strong text, okay, both of these will make this statement as bold. But bold is used in cases where you just want to make that text as bold, but whenever you are using the strong, the line or the paragraph which you are making that strong should convey or should provide some information or meaning to it. Okay, that is the difference between these kind of text. I will see in example. I think it would become more clear. So whenever you will use this bold, see, if you see, HTML B element is a physical tag that displays text in bold font without any logical importance. So whatever the paragraph or the code that you are writing, it can be made as bold without any meaning. So whatever you will write within this bold element, this will be shown in bold letters. So if you see here, this is italic example of bold. Okay, so if you see here, this has made the text as bold. HTML strong tag is a logical tag that displays contents in bold font and informs the browser of its logical significance. Now see, whenever we had used the bold text, at that time it just made the content as bold, but whenever you use the strong tag, it also informs the browser of its logical significance, that this part of sentence is important. So that is the difference. Okay. Then you have italics. HTML italics element is a physical element which displays the enclosed content in italic font without any added importance. Okay. Emphasize tag is a logical element which displays the enclosed content in italic font with added semantic importance. So whenever you will use EM, at that time you are also conveying to your browser that this part is important. Mark text. If you want to mark or highlight a text, you should write the content within the mark. Okay. If you want to mark or highlight text, you should write the content within the mark text. So if you see here, this text is, you have written this mark tag within this mark text, right? So at that time, this would be the kind of output it will display. Underline, you want to make some text underline, you use underline. So this is the body, this text is underlined, is written within the U. So at that time what will happen, it will add underline to it. Strike text. So if you see here, this text is strike through and this text is written within the strike text. So at that time what will happen, this will be striked. So it is very simple. I think whatever the tag that you are using, right, that already carries the meaning what it will do in your web page. Superscript. Now if you see here, this text is in superscript. Whenever you write this text in superscript within this sup tag, it will make the output this way. Okay. So what are the use cases when you will use this one? Like you will use this in mathematical equations and all, right? Where you want to give 5 cube or 8 square, what is the value of this one? So if you have seen those kind of things in a web page, you will use this superscript. Now subscript. If you see here, this subscript text is in sup. Text is in subscript is written here within sub. It will display the output this way. And when you will use this kind of subscript, you will use this in, say, chemical equations or chemical formulas. Like you have H2O, water, right? So what you will do, you will write H, then you will give sub, and you will write 2 within this one. So what will happen, H, 2 will go down, then outside this sub you will write O. So it will display H, 2 in subscript and then O. Okay. So this is the use case for subscript. So that's all for that HTML part, right? Now we have cascading style sheets. So all these are part of your this one HTML. You can go through the things that we have covered so far. Then we will do this CSS. Okay. So basically, if you see till now, HTML, they are kind of giving you the formatting or design of a it is just giving you the structure of your web page. Okay, so structure in the sense, like how should your HTML page be formatted. Okay, say you are making some text as bold, you are making it, the paragraph goes in line, so that is basically giving the structure of your web page. Now CSS, fondly referred as CSS, is simple design language intended to simplify the process of making web pages presentable. So basically CSS is all about design and adding some kind of cosmetic changes to it. CSS is used to control the style of a web document in a simple and easy way. It provides an additional feature to HTML. It is generally used with HTML to change the style of a web pages and user interfaces. So why is CSS used? CSS is used to style the web document. You wanted to style the HTML document. At that time you will use CSS. So CSS cannot be used independently, it should go with HTML. Okay, these are some advantages of CSS. CSS plays an important role. By using CSS you simplify, got to specify repeated style for element once and use it multiple times, because CSS will automatically apply the required style. So you write it once and then use it multiple time within your web page. So that is first advantage of CSS. The main advantage of CSS is that style is applied consistently across variety of sites. One instruction can control several areas, which is advantageous. Which means it will be applied across different sites. So once you write CSS, that same CSS can be used across different different sites. Okay, so you write CSS once and you apply it multiple times. If you are using CSS, you do not need to write HTML tag attribute every time. Okay, just write one CSS rule of a tag and apply it all the occurrence of that tag. So less code means faster download times. So what it is telling, say we have checked the attribute, right? Sometimes what happens, we used to write the HTML attribute. Say you have written the body and you given the color of the text as an attribute there. So when you use CSS, you don't need to write that attribute every time. What will happen, you will write one CSS and then apply that CSS across all the text in your HTML element. Okay, so that means it would be reusable. The main thing it is trying to tell is it would be having a less code, it would have faster download time because you are writing less amount of code. Okay, cascading sheets not only specify website development but also simplifies the maintenance, as a change of one line of code affects the whole website and maintenance time. Okay, basically it will simplify your website development. Okay, it is less complex, therefore the efforts are significantly reduced. So it is simple, it is less complex, and whatever the efforts that would be required to write the code would be much lesser. So these are some advantages of CSS. You can go through it or have one or two advantages written in your exam if it comes. See the syntax of CSS, this is important. The cascading style sheets has two parts, selector and declaration. Okay, this is the selector and this is the declaration part. Now if you see here, this is the syntax it is giving. Color, then you have a colon and then blue. Oh, someone, okay. See, is this clear, Madhu? What is the difference between bold text and strong text? I haven't seen this one, but is this part clear? Basically, see, okay. So just to explain one more time, bold are bold and strong. If you see in appearance wise, it will both make the statement as bold. Okay, there is no difference in the UI or the screen that you see. Both would be displayed in a similar way. But the difference is when you use strong, it carries certain meaning to it. That means it will inform to the web browser as well that this text is important. Okay, when you use the strong text. But when you use bold text, it is just to make that text as bold. It may or may not contain any meaning. But whenever you will use strong text, it will have certain meaning, and in additional to adding that meaning, it will tell to the web browser as well that this part of the statement is important. Okay, so this is the difference. And another difference is, one is physical tag, another is logical tag. It also you can write. Okay, now the syntax of CSS. Syntax, there will be two part, one is selector, another is declaration. Selector, it will give you which part of which tag to select, and declaration will give you how that part will be affected. Say h1 means this would be kind of heading kind of thing. Color blue you have given, that means this syntax of CSS will become, syntax of CSS will come in the blue color. Okay, then you have a font size 10 pixel, that means this font size would be increased little bit. Okay, so basically what we have added, we have not added anything additional, we have just style that element. Okay, h1 element we have given some kind of styling, like we have added some color, we have given some font size. So that is the part of CSS. Selector indicates the HTML element you want to style. It could be any tag like h1 title, etc. So basically selector is that one. Declaration specifies the formatting to the selector. For the above example, there are two declaration, one is color, another is font size. This is the color, this is the font size. Okay, so this is a declaration block. Selector means which element or which tag that you are selecting, and declaration will give you the formatting to that selector. Each declaration contains a property name and a value separated by semicolon. Property is the type of attribute HTML. It could be color, border, etc. And values are assigned to CSS properties. In the above example, value blue is assigned to color property. Now if you see, there are two parts to the declaration. One is property, another is value. Okay, property means what part of this h1, what is the thing that you are trying to convey. So in this case it would be color, and what would be the value. So value you already know, right? So that is the thing. Property, it contains value. One is this thing to remember is, one is selector block, that means which tag that is going to be affected with CSS. Then there is a declaration block. Within declaration block there are property and there are value. Property is the attribute of HTML element, and the value is what is the value of that property. Okay, you can see this one as well, property, value and description. Background color, and the value is name of the color. What does it does, it specifies the background color. So these two things it is giving, property and value. Property and value it is giving. And what does this property stands for? So if you use background color, it specifies the background color. If you use color, it specifies the text color. Okay, text alignment, it specifies the alignment of the text. Font family specifies the font style of the text. So this is description, what this property is doing, and this is the property part, and this is the value part. So against this property you need to give certain value. Okay, moving next, using CSS can be used to HTML document in three ways. So there are three ways to use CSS. One is inline CSS. Okay, inline CSS is used to apply unique style to a single HTML element. Inline CSS uses the style attribute of HTML element. So if you see this one, this is an example of inline CSS. Why it is an example of inline CSS? An inline CSS used to apply unique style to a single HTML element. So body is an HTML element. You have given the syntax this way: style equal to background color yellow, then there is a semicolon, color blue. So when you write this syntax, so how to add this part is inline CSS. This part, whatever I am highlighting now, this part is inline CSS. Why it is an inline CSS? Because it is used to apply unique style to a single HTML element. So body is an HTML element, right? So what is the style that it is applying? If you see the syntax here, style is equal to, it is giving the body, whatever the content of your website, a background color of yellow and a text color of blue. So whatever the text that would be written in the website, that would be of blue color, and your website's background would be yellow color. Okay, so this kind of CSS, when you write this kind of CSS within an HTML element, those kind of CSS are known as inline CSS. Okay, then you have an internal CSS. An internal CSS is used to define a style for a single HTML page. Now inline CSS was for a single element, right, body. Now if you see here, internal CSS is to define the style for a single HTML element, HTML page. An internal CSS is defined in the head section of the HTML page within the style element. So difference between inline and internal is used to define the style for a single HTML page. Now it is covering the page. Earlier it was covering the single HTML element. Okay, and where it is written? It is written within the head section. Okay, where was this is internal CSS. Where is inline CSS written? Inline CSS is written in a single HTML element. Okay, and internal CSS is written for a single HTML page within the head element. Okay, so this is the difference. So here within the style and inside head you have body. Body would be, background color would be yellow, h1 color is equal to red, p means paragraph, h1 means heading, b means the body. Okay, so when you write body, background color yellow, this will make the content of your website's background color as yellow, h1 is the heading and p is the paragraph. Okay, here it is written, this code will display the web page background color as yellow, web page background color is yellow, heading as red, headings h1's, if you see here, this would be affected, right? Wherever h1 is written in the body, okay, those will be affected. And how this will be affected? This color will become red. Okay, and paragraph as blue. See, if you see here, p color written as blue, right? Then what will happen? Since internal CSS applies to the entire web page, so in that case, wherever the p is written, everything would be affected. Okay, so p color will become blue. Then you have an external CSS. An external sheet is used to define the style for many HTML pages. To use an external style sheet, add a link to its head section of each HTML page. Now what will happen? External CSS means you have written a separate CSS file. Okay, earlier what was happening? You were writing in inline CSS, you were writing it for one HTML element, right? Say for h1 or the body you have written. Then for internal CSS, you have written within the HTML element another, you have added the CSS inside the HTML element. So HTML and CSS are together within the single HTML file. Okay, but in case of external CSS, what will happen? You will write a separate file for HTML, you will write a separate file for CSS. Okay, and what you will do, within this head element, you will just refer that CSS file. You will just give a reference or a link to that CSS file. Then automatically what will happen? Whatever this style.css separate file will styles are present there, it will automatically be applied to this entire web page. So this is an example of external CSS. Why it is called external? Because in this case HTML and CSS file are different. You have written the HTML file, you have written the CSS file somewhere else. Then you are just linking that CSS file inside your HTML file using href attribute this way. Okay, you are just adding a reference of that CSS file within the HTML file under the head section. That is why it is known as external CSS, because the style is coming externally from some other file. Okay, the external style sheet can be written in any text editor. The file must not contain any HTML code and must be saved with a .css extension. So what will happen? You should save that file with .css extension and it should not contain any HTML tag. Okay. So I think this is all about your first chapter, part 1 for HTML and CSS. Any doubts so far till what we have covered today? Okay. What is the meaning of code? Link. See here, this is the kind of reference that you are using. So like you have a head tag, right? Similarly you have a body tag. Similarly link is also one tag. And what is the purpose of this link? This link is used to link some external file. Okay, link is used for linking some external file or some external resources to your web page. Okay, and rel style sheet means it is telling that this is a style sheet. That means it is a CSS file. Okay, this rel will give you a meaning like this, whatever the file that you are trying to import, that is kind of style sheet. So if you were trying to link an say image to this one, then you would have given rel as kind of image. Okay, so link is a tag that is used to link some external resources to your HTML file. rel is like you just give a meaning or a set of value for what you are trying to link, and href is the link. This is the file link, like style dot, this is the path where to find. So you have saved a file with a name of styles.css, and here you are just giving the link of that file, that this is the file that I wanted to import over here. Okay, is it clear, Mandeep?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any doubts or that you, or anything that you wanted to understand from today's class that is not clear? Anyways, I am going to upload this recording in our YouTube channel as well. But just in case you have immediate doubt that you wanted to clear, that I can do right away, or else we'll wrap up this session. I think we are good, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.